this is Dust for Dusted on Gaming. We're back with some Arena here, playing some red-black burn in Standard. Your usual thoroughfare of mono-red stuff, you know, Lava Runner, Fanatical Firebrand, Pyromancer, Goblin Chain Whirler, along with new cards like Light Up this Gauge and Skewer the Critics. The Wizards lighting the pair with all this. Couple copies of Sovereign's Might. Might be a little bit greedy in a deck with only 8 black sources right now. So we'll see how this plays out. 20 lands might be too few. Sideboard, 4 Duress, and Theater of Horrors for the kind of grindier matchups. Banefire for the control decks. Risk Factor for control decks. Fight with Fire and Lava Coil for bigger creatures when you just kind of need to get them out of your way. Alright, that said, let's hop into some traditional best of 3 and see how this deck does. Definitely looks like an interesting deck choice here. Alright. Definitely want to be playing first. Hand seems alright. I've not really played too much Standard burns. This is an interesting concept to me. What's up, War Dog? How you doing? I prefer playing on Arena for Standard, so when I can get the cards, I prefer to. And War Elves. Animations on these are so awesome. At least we hit a land off that, so I don't have to draw that land with Light Up the Stage. So still likely to be Golgari here. Naturalize. Okay, so maybe mono green? Green's traditionally a pretty rough matchup for mono red-esque burn decks, just because they usually have slightly bigger creatures and such. Opponent Optus to give us more cards. Interesting. They are confirmed mono green. Memorial to Unity is an interesting one. Wow. The heck is their hand? Doesn't use all of our mana this turn, but still pretty efficient turn, getting a lot of guys into play. Alright, so I want a couple copies of those, a couple copies of Fight, Sovereign out of our deck. Right like that. Hope everyone's having a good morning. Definitely a drop off from Modern Burn versus Standard Burn, though. Oh well. Only so much we can do, right? We got our wonderful opponent here. Sounds pretty reasonable. Our opponent put us on the play? Really? Okay. Whatever. So we'll give our opponent one turn with their Lane of War Elves. Could potentially be dangerous, but I don't know if there's too much here they could play that we care about. Next turn, play out Chain Whirler. I guess they could theoretically play Steely Champion here. Alright, well that's a card. Attack. New animation on that's pretty sweet compared to the old animation. There's a small part of me that wishes I could tell my opponent to run the one that gives +1/+1 for all forests you control, as opposed to this Oaken form, but whatever. It's in my green deck. I'll have to take a look at it here in a minute. I'm debating if they want to block here. Yeah. Kind of get the feeling our opponent might be newer to Magic just by how they're playing with some of their play lines and stuff. Branch Walker, sure. As long as they don't have life gain to go with the Explorer, I don't really care. I really don't know. If they ban anything, I think it's going to be something out of KCI. And maybe something else. or it could just be they decide to unban something today, or it could be no changes. So Wizards could go a couple different ways. People were speculating on Stoneforge Mystic again, but they've already done that once, so it's like, OMG. I'll probably do a reaction video after it comes out if there's anything major on it, but, you know. But who knows with Wizards? When's the announcement? Is it 11 or is it noon? Or at noon? Feels like too many lands. Sand isn't a ton better. Golgari, huh? Sucks that we missed the point of damage off this, but it's whatever. This card is consistently overperformed in both versions of Burn. Consistently overperformed. Even when it's drawing us 2 lands, that's 2 lands we didn't see. It's almost like a better version of Chart, of course, for red. Probably should have waited until to see if they had a moment of craving. Oh no, it probably can't. At least not wild growth walkers that have a chance to explore. Like an opponent that just plays a turn 2 wild growth walker naked and we have a chance to lightning strike it or something, then we have a chance. But if the opponent ever gets to the point where they can go like Wild Growth Walker plus Jade Light Ranger, the game is probably close to over. But outside of that, not many decks are playing a lot of main deck life gain in Standard right now. Some of the Jeskai decks and some of the other random control decks are playing like Revitalize and I think it's Rejuvenation. Well, in general, the set is a lot less powerful than Guilds was, but I still think... So 3... This puts them to 10. I'm 1 point away from lethal, whereas if I kill this with my own spell, it's not really offsetting things too terribly much. Just pass. Leave this Wizard's Lightning up for some type of interaction against like a Wild Growth Walker here. Like if they go Wild Growth Walker into Jade Light Ranger or Merfolk Branch Walker, we'll be glad we left this up. So definitely want our lava coils here. Sovereign's Whites can go out. Shock's not great against Golgari. So bring in a couple Theater of Horrors because this is a bit of a grindier matchup. It's a pretty sweet background. Is that a Simic background, I think? Opponent is still currently sideboarding. So, now that we're back down to mainly the YouTube audience, because Twitch is such a fickle beast, I think I'm going to start... You guys were kind of wondering what I was going to do once the treasure chest challenge for Burn was done. Deadeye Tracker. Da Fook. I think what I'm going to do is end up doing something similar to what Nikachu MTG does. I think I'm going to go to a like a series of videos for various different deck types, like episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. Like just release like a video per day when I'm not streaming consistently. Am I going to get Assassin's Trophied or Moment of Craving? Alright. Knew things were going to be rough for post-board in this matchup, so not terribly surprised. Alright, so they're going to push that to a 4-3. Wizard's Lightning, get that out of the way. Yay, we got them back to their starting life total. Woohoo! Like, we're going to start out with Burn, but I'm probably going to start doing series for, like, Death Shadow, Blue-White Control, Just Got Control, the Arc-Light Phoenix decks. I might do some stuff for Standard. So we've run out of gas. I'd really like to draw, like, Black Source in the Theater of Horrors here. Fine Broker. The Jade-Light Ranger to get back regardless. I think we gotta save the Lava Coil for their Fine Broker. This is where red starts to run out of fuel and it gets a little annoying. Their opponent's still only going to be at... That's a nice card to find. Hopefully we find a black source next turn, or this Theater of Horrors is going to get away. Two lands, nice, nice. Another Jade Light, that's a little rough. Said our opponent's average top decks are better than ours from here. But if we'd had one of our black sources, I think we would have been in control of this game. But we are only running 8 currently. It's a very scary card. Fortunately, they've already burned through, what, like 4 or 5 of their Explorer creatures? Let's go ahead and pass here. Hopefully they'll... Nope, no attacks. Opponent respecting hasty creatures a bit too much. Presuming we're going to draw 3 cards here instead of our opponent dying. Should give us more than enough tools to win this game. Never mind. Hey, Space Marine, wonder how I was going to beat a bunch of Wild Growth Walker triggers? Well, here's the answer. I'm not. Opponent gets to play a Vivian here. Yeah, we can't beat that much. The double concession. Well, that was a glitch. Because I conceded the game twice and there was a lag. So, we conceded the game? Question mark? I didn't concede the second game, and I'm pretty sure we won the first game, didn't we? That was annoying. Well, nice to know. Don't go too crazy on concessions in Arena. Stands reasonable. Doesn't have any one of our 1-drops, so it's a little bit slower out the gate. Grixis, huh? Love how that turns on disinformation campaign, huh? Okay. Guess they figure it's not going to block anyway. Sure. Presume they're going to let us draw 3 cards. Discard a mountain here. So any true burn spell and they're dead. Sovereign's Bite counts. Alright, so against True Control, probably want a couple copies of Duress, a couple copies of Theater of Horrors. After this match, we definitely need to add like a swamp or two to the deck list, or maybe even a swamp to the sideboard. Shocks are probably the least impactful cards here. I don't like adding lands to my sideboard, but when I only have 8 colored sources in my main deck and then board in additional colored spells, I probably want a swamp in my sideboard. Opponent's deciding if they would like to go first. So, pretty sure this is a mulligan. Only 1 land here. Seems a lot better. I think I'm just going to bottom a mountain here. Bottom a mountain, draw a mountain. It's a slightly annoying card. It's a rather nice draw. Allows us to double spell this turn. Alright, well, opponent has Midnight Reaper in against a burn deck. That seems a little loose. This looks like they're just Grixis mid-range. Bolus? Why else would you shock in here? Especially when you have an untapped... is doing some weird things. Okay, suppose that's a... It's a greedy card to be running in your Grixis list, but, you know, whatevs. It's the left-in disinformation campaign. Good to know. It's our opponent to 6 here. Means this risk factor will resolve. Our opponent to 5. Gonna hold up these two in case they have some type of instant speed answer to it. No attacks. In turn. With 2 cards in hand. So a little bit punished for not making the risk factor play here. Sure, resolves. Wow, no counterspell. Alright. Working on it, man. Working on it. Justin, how you doing today? Flame of Keld. To pop a Ravnica Legion's Pap here. Breeding Pool. Nice. Alright, now back to fixing the deck. It's doing alright so far. Get a swamp in here. Hate adding swamps to my sideboard, but probably want the 4th lava coil. It's doing alright. We beat mono green. We were 1-1 against Golgari, but some reason, if you hit the concede button twice in the same game, it concedes the match. Because there was a hiccup with a thing, and then we just beat some version of Grixis mid-range, or Grixis control. So, doing solid so far, especially for a deck that I'm still working on, like tuning the particulars for best of 3. Ironically, not an archetype I've played much in either standard format right now, so don't know if only 8 black sources in the main's enough, but we only have two black cards in our main deck and 2 Sovereign's Bites, which may not even necessarily need to be in the deck. Maybe they should just be the 4th. Oh, this could be an interesting matchup. This could be the new Black-White Angels deck that's been floating around. I love that art on Godless Shrine. It is amazing. Hopefully we don't get whatever that minus. Yep. Okay. Some life gain in their main deck, sure. Pump our lava runner here. Yeah, there's a lot of really sweet decks that I wish I had time to play all of them. And I don't have them on Arena, so I'm going to have to play some of them in paper. Or on Magic Online, I should say. Orzhov Angels, Bant Flash. There's a lot of sweet, sweet decks. The new Gruul, Pound Town. Opponent really hating on the aggro decks here. If we had one more land, they would have been dead there. Okay. Maybe they're just Esper control. Oh, from what I've seen of Hoagland's stream, it's very, very nasty. Especially with the new Fires of Yavimaya that your crap is indestructible, or can have haste card. That seems good, right? Or your cards can't be countered stuff. Seems real good. So let's presume they have angels in their deck. Bring in that. Bring in a couple Theater of Horrors. Bring in... Take out the Shocks. Take out the Sovereign's Bites. And bring in 2 Fight with Fires. Go down a mountain. I'm bringing the Lava Coils and the Fight with Fires in case they have an Angels package. Eric was streaming early access, turn 4. That's pretty brutal. Yeah, he hasn't streamed the last couple days, has he? Guess that almost 16-hour event took a lot out of him. Yeah, seems pretty reasonable in the matchup. Oh, probably dead from the other day. What happened the other day? Oh yeah, from the long stream. Let's get this lava runner into play since we can't give it haste. This looked like the rest were control. Light up the stage. So they took our card advantage card, that makes sense. Kaya. What does Kaya even do? That's pretty brutal. So it looks like I brought in a bunch of dead cards and it's not going to matter anyway. No, it's just splashing black. I don't think too many of the black cards are actually all that good in the main deck. I do like Theater of Horrors out of the sideboard. It might be a main deckable card. We're gonna get punished for this line if they have Ritual of Soot here. But yeah, fair enough. Midnight. It's not really too hard on the black cards. I prefer to like a light splash, in all honesty. And this isn't modern where we have fetch lands, man. So I'm gotta be careful with how many swamps you put in your Goblin Chain Whirler deck. It's mainly just for Duresses and Theater of Horrors, which have both been pretty reasonable so far. Banefire might not even be like necessary in the sideboard. So we've beaten 2 control decks without, we beat 2 control decks without actually, boarding it in. But, all I gotta say is, light up the stage, destroy the Azorius Guild Identity because Steve is about to ferry, then they go and make aggro absolutely fucking nuts the hell. Because I think Izzet was meant to be the control guild this time around, Space Marine. And actually in the past, some of Blue-White's best formats have involved not having a control deck. Don't remove Banefire ever. You'll regret it. How so? Like, I'm only playing 20 or 21 lands. It's not like I have a ton of lands to really leverage it. Okay. I don't know if this is the same opponent, but I love that effect. Hand's a little glutted right now. Light Up the Stage is a 3-mana draw 2 that you can play until the end of your next turn. Or if you happen to have damaged your opponent this turn cycle, then it allows you to play it for 1 mana. It also allows you to play lands off of it, which is the main reason I was casting it there. It's just a brutal, brutal card. That's fair. That's fair enough. If they're low enough life total, yeah. It's gonna finally draw out a counterspell. That's fair. To be fair, though, Risk Factor and Light Up the Stage are both pretty good mana sinks, and as is Theater of Horrors. So that's why I'm like questioning if we have too many cards against control. Yep, Revitalize resolves. Should have cast that Lightning Strike. Theater's pretty decent. Why is my opponent auto-tapping? Sure. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get a Skullcrack in this format. And honestly, I don't think as good as this burn deck potentially is that it should get a Skullcrack. Okay. Opponent has a negate. Fair enough. Feels like this... I don't know if this is the same opponent or not, but it feels like this opponent might be a little bit more ready for aggro decks. I feel like this one's going to get syncopated. Yeah, opponent's counting mana. That strikes me as syncopate. Oh. Wow, that's a brutal beating. Oh, my counterspell gains 3 life. Seems good. Though to be fair, I've considered playing Absorb in my Jeskai list in the best of 1 queues just because of that factor too. I saw so many mono red decks that first day, it was ridiculous. I hate manual tappers. They are so annoying. Why must you do these terrible things, opponent? You're already playing a control deck and then you're doing manual tapping. To be fair, that's why you kill the angel. Oh, our control versus burn dynamic going here. Opponent gets a chain whirler back. I don't know that control is bad. Like, Jeskai was one of the top 3 decks last standard season. I wouldn't exactly call that bad. Well, Angel of Grace is just a busted card anyway. this game's over. Alright. So we finally have a control opponent who is serious about beating aggro. So take out all the shocks. Take out these Sovereign's Bites. Now all of a sudden the swamp I had in my sideboard is no longer showing up. Oh, Arena, your odd quirks befuddle me. So, that begs the question, Space Marine. I understand you sit there and say Burn's a low skill deck, this, that, and the other thing. Why do you always watch the Burn videos then? You know, I'm not saying you're wrong that those decks don't have a low skill ceiling for the majority of the play. But then why do you... Yeah, I guess, Midnight. I don't know. Thanks, Midnight, I think. Hey, thanks for the follow or the sub. I can't really tell which because my notifications aren't working right. Really need to keep up risk factor. That's an interesting one here. So there's a decent chance my opponent has like a moment of craving or something here. Seal away. Wait to see... They target here. Yeah, that's fine. To be fair, if you understand the history of good combo decks in Standard, there's a reason Wizards doesn't push turn 4 combo decks in Standard anymore. When Dragonstorm was a thing, Dragonstorm was pretty brutal. I guess you could say... Yeah, every deck can be oppressive given the nature of the format. It all depends on, like... Playing this land is probably incorrect. Yeah, but I would say even Burn at its worst. Are you talking about the skill, or are you talking about the playability or the power level of the deck? If you're talking about the skill level, yeah, it definitely has. Okay, well then I'll let you explain, Midnight, because to me, ceiling could mean both the skill level and the play style of the deck. This is probably going to earn an absorb. Yep. No, what he's meaning by oppressive Space Marine isn't, in terms of playing against it, he's talking about like when Eldrazi was a thing in Modern, the deck was oppressive. When KCI was banned? They make the announcement already? Yeah, I would agree with that statement. Alright, we got there. Yeah. Oh, now our swamp shows up. Okay. Take a look at the KCI announcement. Consists of control mirrors. Oh, the numbo that I was talking about. Alright, opponent consistently taking our card advantage cards. That makes sense. I mean, at least we get to double spell this turn, right? Take the counter spell, play around the life gain. That's part of the reason why I try to play a balance of decks. Obviously Burn is my best. Burn's probably my best deck in Modern, but Alright, Moment of Craving here kind of sucks. No, I would say Control's probably middle of the pack, depending on the format, about deck difficulty. Even if you look at Modern, like a dedicated Control player like Paulo Vito, or a pretty prominent Control player like Paulo, plays so it's about middle of the pack for Modern. Like decks like you know, usually it's Foz and Space Marine getting these. No, I understand that. I'm just saying part of the reason I play a balance of decks is because I want to understand things from all sides. I'm not discussing my own skill set. Well, Space Marine has his own view on the world, you know? Sure. I guess to cast that down. Some people choose to play Burn even if they're good at Magic, just because they enjoy fast, quick games of Magic that enables them to actually enjoy their lives. And that's the one thing about Burn is just, oh, seriously, they drew Absorb? God bless. As soon as our opponent hits any kind of card advantage, this game is basically over. So, those of you that want to know how to beat aggro playing Esper, I'd say this player had the right idea. Opponent may not even have any creatures in their deck. Really don't know what their actual win con is. Ignore 1 drop, ignore 2 drop, counter 3 drop. Oh, wow.
We need to move quickly.
That is pretty much the Control game plan, isn't it? At least when they're winning. Why is my opponent doing this all main phase? I think you'd wait until Teferi next turn's Emblem to just nuke all my lands. Right, they know our last card is Fight with Fire here. Been a really, really close game. KCI banned. Yay!
No time for a break.
Kind of glad I got rid of my KCIs. I don't think Force of Will should ever be in Standard. I think Modern could benefit from having a Force of Will-esque card. Because I think if Force of Will was unbanned in Modern, or not banned, if it was legal in Modern, that you could unban a lot of the cards that are currently on the ban list. Beat Tefel. We're trying to beat Teferi. I don't know if we're gonna do it this game. This opponent was Chromium the Mutable. Well, I mean, this is the best situation we're gonna get to resolve risk factor here. Well, we don't have enough to kick Fight with Fire, unfortunately.
You are removed from time itself.
Fight with Fire doesn't target players, Redrum, that's the problem. It only targets creatures. See, 5 damage to target creature. I don't have enough mana to kick it.
This is hardly my worst defeat.
Alright, I think we can safely concede this match, unfortunately. This Chromium's gonna kill us long before we can kill our opponent. Yeah, we're playing that, but unfortunately... unfortunately, not the card we had in our hand. Yeah, Rakdos Burn's pretty fun, although this list, to be fair, is probably closer to Mono Red with just a splash of black, as Midnight already pointed out earlier. I like Light Up the Stage, though. It's been a pretty sweet card. There really isn't worth playing Light Up the Stage here, just because we're most likely going to play... They're debating Redrum whether Midnight is a pretty avid burn player and Space Marine is a... we have Fanatical Firebrand, Gitu Lava Runner, Goblin Chain Whirler, and Viashino Pyromancer in the list. Is the creature base. Wow, it's like we have like 3 different conversations going here right now. Light Up the Stage. Those are some nice draws. Hunted Witness is a little annoying. Double Hunted Witness, alright. That'll clear out their chump blockers next turn. Well, at least we know why Goblin Chain Whirler is such a part of these red decks. They do punish these mono white decks pretty hard. Yeah, so our creature is Fanatical Firebrand, Lava Runner, Pyromancer, and Chain Whirler. And then our only black card in the main deck is Sovereign's Bite, and then we're playing Duress and Theater of Horrors in the sideboard for kind of the grindier matchups. Do I even want any of these cards in this matchup? Probably not. Feels like our main deck's already kind of built against their deck. To be fair, I think Judith's better in a little bit creature-heavy build. So, like, I think Judith would almost go better in, like, a Goblin deck or something, where you're actively sacking creatures and such. Opponent could have something as, like, goofy as Shield Mare in this matchup. KCI is in fact a confirmed ban. Effective immediately on Magic Online. Just look on Wizard's website. They have the explanation on there. This card literally just isn't fair against their entire deck, is it? Yeah, most likely Midnight. Which is really sad, because Modern's a really fun format. So this Goblin Chain Whirler just read, opponent loses 9 life. Seems pretty decent. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a Conclave. Oh, Venerated Luxodon. That's a pretty rough one. To be fair, at the time Ponder and Preordain were banned, Faithless Looting was nowhere near as powerful as it is now. So, thoughts on the deck so far? Deck seems pretty powerful. I mean, we hung in there against Golgari. We beat mono white. We beat mono green, and we beat a plethora of different control decks. Other than that, Esper deck that was really, really, really ready for that kind of stuff. So the deck's pretty solid overall. needs some tweaking, obviously, for the meta, but this is definitely a deck that's fun to play. Obviously, this is primarily a burn channel, so this is a deck we're going to see again. But for that, it's about all on the deck. I think I'm now going to go on to discussion. I don't think Sovereign's Bite is worth it. I think the black cards in the sideboard are worth it. I think Sovereign's Bite could probably be cut for the 4th risk factor and the 4th light up the stage, honestly. I think the black cards... I think Theater of Horrors is better than Experimental Frenzy. I'll put it that way. I think Theater of Horrors in the red decks is a little bit better. Because it comes down a turn sooner. They're both very powerful cards. I just happen to like Theater of Horrors. And I think it could even see some play in Modern. In the Rakdos kind of all-in deck we were playing earlier. I honestly think it could see some play in Modern. I think this is the Dark Confidant slash card advantage card that Burn's been looking for in Modern. And I think this is the card that could come down against turn 3 against like Jund or Rock if they don't have Assassin's Trophy or Abrupt Decay on the spot. Could keep us in the game in those matchups. This could be what Direfleet Daredevil wanted to be. Now Direfleet Daredevil's a little more instant, so you gotta judge. So this deck could be powerful enough for Modern. Could be. Keeping in mind there are cards like maybe. I think the main's are already pretty stocked full. I mean, I guess we could just cut the 2 Sovereign's Bites and move Theater of Horrors to the main. That could certainly be a possibility. Be something we'd have to toy around with more at Midnight. Anywho, on to the ban and restricted announcement. Gonna do a recording on this just to put it up on YouTube later, separate from the actual stream itself. So, January 21st, KCI is banned. Nearly 1 year since the last change to the Modern ban list. KCI decks have risen to prominence, posting more individual play, top 8 finishes than any other archetype, despite being only a modest portion of the field. In fact, only one other archetype has posted more than half as many top 8 finishes as Ironworks in those events. With no signs of Ironworks deck's dominance and GP slowing down, we've decided to take the ban of banning KCI. We've taken additional time to watch the environment by now. We've gathered sufficient information that Ironworks poses a long-term threat to the health of the competitive Modern format. This is the right time to make a change. While the primary reasons for banning a card are its raw win percentage and game high GP top 8 conversion rate, we also consider how highly polarizing Game 1's pre-sideboard rates, sometimes long-term linked and difficulty rules actions are secondary factors. Games with Crackling Ironworks often involve excessive arcane rules interactions using mana, ability timing windows that understand are necessary for people to agree on for the game state. They can create a barrier to entry for Modern for players playing against the deck and to those who feel obligated to play with it because it's a strong win rate. No mistake, R&D holy blah blah blah. With 3 possible cards, Ancient Stirrings, Mox Opal, and Crack and Ironworks, given the Modern looked healthy and diverse at many levels in play, we decided to target the card that only affects the Crack Clan Ironworks deck. Crack Clan Ironworks. Ancient Stirrings and Mox Opal represent 2 categories R&D keeps careful eye on: card selection and fast mana. One factor we considered is that Ancient Stirrings, unlike Ponder and Preordain, brings deck building constrictions, which it really doesn't. The recent resurgence of Amulet Titan decks is a good example of this. Mox Opal is similar in addition to showing up in high-profile decks. Ancient Stirring supports decks that look very different from a simple collection of strongest rare cards, rate cards, and otherwise may not exist. With that in mind, based on the Ancient Stirrings and Mox Opal are not given a free pass. With no current plans to take action against these cards, we continue to monitor the healthy environment and strength of the decks they possess. Note on Magic Online will, as of 10 a.m. Pacific time, Crackclan and Ironworks will be banned on Magic Online while the system is live. This neither requires a downtime where players are removed from Magic Online because we make a ban shit. Basically, anybody who is currently playing in a league with that is going to have their stuff removed. Hada Free Blade, Spatial Contortion, and Circle of Flame will be banned in Pauper to correct a format issue that they are currently legal in the format despite only appearing as common as promotional cards. These bans will use the same process outlined above. I think there's a banning for quote-unquote dumb people, and I think there's a banning for very complex, difficult rules interactions. Like, take a look at MTG Goldfish here. Like, even I've played a little bit of KCI myself, and even I don't understand all the rules interactions. Like, I didn't understand until it was explained after, like, watching the deck, like, 20 times or better, about sacking in response to casting the spell, to using it as mana costs. Seems kind of insane. And right now, Ironworks is the second most popular win rate deck in the format. So, thoughts on KCI getting banned? I understand why it's getting banned. I have personally no feelings one way or the other. I think the card is very powerful. It led to some very obnoxious turn taking in the hands of players that didn't understand the deck. I think it's I don't think it was worse in terms of like decks like Storm being like as fast. I think the problem with KCI is KCI was both resilient and fast. The only card that could completely shut down KCI was Stony Silence. Like, Graveyard Hate slows it down, but eventually they'll find a Nature's Claim or a Engineered Explosives and deal with it. Psy gave the deck so much resilience. I honestly think the deck had to go. I personally thought about learning the deck, but then I realized there was probably a banning risk with the deck, so I sold my copies of KCI that I happen to own for many, many years for much higher than its worth will be now. As far as the format, I think it was a deck much like Amulet, or not Amulet Titan, but Amulet Bloom, the predecessor to Amulet Titan, that people realized how powerful the deck was, and the only thing that kept people from playing the deck more and more was the difficulty of the deck being played. And I think now that people were beginning to realize that the deck had maybe a, say, 3 to 5% win rate above the rest of the field's top decks, I think Wizards, much like Amulet Bloom, realized that a card needed to go in the deck. And the fact that they just decided to nuke the deck and not hurt anything else with like Ancient Stirrings or Mox Opal, I give Wizards a round of applause for not hurting other decks. I still think Wizards could have unbanned something, but overall, I'm kind of happy. You know, I think Modern's in a good place. I think the Izzet Phoenix decks are fun. They're a turn 4 deck at most, which is where they want Modern allegedly to be. That leaves basically what? Infect and Storm as really your only two consistent like turn 3 killish decks in the format. Obviously Burn can do it. Some nut draws from Phoenix can do it. Storm can kill on 3. Some of these decks, like the key turn in the format's still turn 3, but there's only like 2 or 3 decks now that can consistently kill you on 3. And I think that's a huge positive for a format that very soon is going to face another challenger in potentially another Eternal format for Arena. So, just want to thank everybody for hanging out today. That'll be the end of the rant for KCI banning. I want to thank everybody for hanging out this morning here on Twitch and on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing on YouTube. Give us a follow over on Twitch. It's been fun playing a lot of Burn this morning. Once again, kind of a reminder, I'm going to be starting some... if you guys follow Nikachu YouTube channel, he does a series of videos where he's done like say episode 1, you know, like he's on episode 118 of Merfolk or whatever, and he just plays like a match and releases one every day. I think we're going to start doing stuff like that. That way I can continue playing Burn, continue playing Arclight Phoenix, continue playing various things, and I think the streams are going to be more... The streams are going to be more for, like, introducing newer deck archetypes, twists on decks and stuff, and I think the actual, like, in-depth gameplay, like for Burn, for Arclight Phoenix, for, you know, Jeskai and all that, I think those are going to be reserved for the standalone daily videos, and I'm going to use the streams on Mondays and Friday mornings for right now for, you know, testing out new stuff, bringing in new content, that kind of stuff. So I think that's how I'm going to run the channel for the next couple weeks, see how it goes. And if the results are positive, we'll continue with that format moving forward. At least while I have this 8 weeks of dual classes on the evenings that I can't stream as much in the evenings. So hopefully you guys enjoy that format. That way you guys get more Burn content, you get more Arclight Phoenix content, more Shadow content, more Control content. And on the streams I can continue to focus on like the newer hot button whatevers, like, you know, like when Arclight Phoenix was a big thing, or Burn's a big thing right now, or the new standard decks. That way I can focus on new content on the streams and the old content. The reasons why all you guys have come to the channel for the most part, I'm going to focus more on that in these, like, kind of pre-made videos. And I'm going to release one every day. So that's like my goal for like the next, I'll go for the next month, is to release a new play video every day at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to try to schedule, I think there's a way to schedule releases in YouTube, there used to be at least. So 8 p.m. every day there will be a new video coming out of either Burn or Arclight Phoenix or Grixis Death Shadow or Control, which you'll know because, like, I'll do like a block of 5. It'll be a league for each thing. So hope everybody enjoys that. I want to thank everybody for hanging out this morning. Space Marine, Midnight TV, War Dog, everybody else that hung out through both the streams. I want to thank everybody for hanging out this morning. It's been awesome. Thanks you guys for all your support, and I hope you all have a great day. This has been Dusk for Dust to Non Gaming.